So, Scorpio, this one is for you. That's you, Scorpio. This is your general report from Tarot Lumination for October 2017. So you know the drill. I've done it before. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising. Squash it all together. Rewrite the whole story to suit you. Okay? There's only so much we can do on this little tiny channel. All right? We'll make the best of it. Figure it out. And hopefully this will work for you, resonate with you in some way or another. No jumpers, no flyers, no oracles, no reversals, just stripped down little storytelling, okay? And that's about it. We're not going to do any huge preambles. Well, cards were already well shuffled in advance, but I like to do it to the last moment so that you are a witness. Look at that. I've only done it once before. We're going to do a one-card split. I hope you don't mind. It's kind of exciting. Ooh. Let's have a look. So, yeah, let's just dive in, okay? Go into the shadows. Here we go. Here's your core heart energy, all right? This is legacy energy that you're bringing with you, that you've carried with you perhaps since birth, or even just from the last few weeks or a few months or something, or from coming through these very convulsive eclipse energies in August, all the build up to August. And now the wave is starting to push out and move forward, that big surge of the wave effect, taking all of us with it, okay? Including you, Scorpio. So this is the ever-present now, as you admit that, okay, I'm on a wave, and the wave is going here. I came in with so-and-so, and my heart energy is so-and-so, but the wave is here. So while I'm on that wave, what am I going to do now? I have to make a decision. That's you. That's the call to action. Like, what are we going to do now? You know, we can't stagnate. We're here to evolve and grow. To love and be loved. So this would be the activation of your energy, okay? And then, well, let's say we do that. How do we do that effectively so that it actually works, so it makes your life viable, meaningful, so that your efforts and decisions have fruitful outcomes? Let's put it that way. In which case, you would come to the understanding that, well, if we do it right, then it would feel like, oh, I'm creating my own life, my own world, my own existence, step by step, decision by decision. Otherwise, it feels like fate. So keep going on the understanding, on the understanding that we evolve through the process of decision making. I know it sounds a little bit crass, but in many ways it's true. By making decisions, millions, thousands, hundreds, a couple of decisions at a time, we activate our evolution. We set courses to this way or to that way or this way. It's a decision. So, because we're heading into what we call the unknown or the future, there's always a risk, perhaps a reward, something scary, something beautiful. That's over here. And then where is the momentum with all of this? And where is that little bottom card? What's this all about? It's the weather that's prevailing. I'm not going to take it too personally. Hopefully, Scorpio, you understand that the weather is what it is. And it's like you're duty bound to make the best of it. If you just want to be a victim of the weather, in other words, if it's horrible weather and you just say, okay, well, I feel miserable, or if it's beautiful weather, now I feel awesome, then you're kind of like throwing yourself at the mercy of the heavens without any active participation in your own evolution. So what's the point of being here, you know? We're here to evolve and grow and love and be loved. So let's do that. We're going to look at the bottom card. It happened to be that single card that we pulled in the cut. Oh my gosh. So you must be doing something right, Scorpio, because the conditions around you are indicating that you are. You are doing something right. It's working to some way, some degree or other, in some aspect, some corner of your life, particularly with heart energy. Let's focus on the heart in such a way that, let's just say this is very good weather. You don't have to let it go to your head. You can say, okay, well, like a You know, let's make hay while the sun shines. You know, if it's good weather, let's go with this. So the indication is go with the flow here. Understand that you are deeply appreciated, deeply loved, deeply supported, passionately embraced, and it's okay to be that way. Because that would not have happened unless you had already extended that love to others. So it's like it's coming back on you now, Scorpio, some way, somehow. It's just that beautiful energy of life, you know. We intimate, we separate, it comes and goes. You're planting seeds and they bloom. Plant seeds of love, and guess what happens? Kaboom! Yay! So let's go deep into the heart here, all right, Scorpio? Wow, again, this card keeps repeating. I have no idea why. Don't ask me. Um, we're just doing a little tarot channel, all right? So anyway, so if Scorpio, inside your heart energy, if you are getting that sense of resonance where, my gosh, this is actually working, maybe it's because you've done a huge amount of homework on yourself in the past. Maybe you understand how the universe works, you know, the laws of attraction, how, you know, you, you, you get what you put out. You know, when you love, you are loved. Be loving, be loved. Whatever it is you do, when you extend love, if you understand the idea that love is as love does, and you do it with passion and expression and kindness and generosity in a way that inspires others, in a way that you are appreciated as an inspiration to others, that's great too. The understanding love is as love does, it's like love is the essentially love is the willing decision to extend yourself, go out of your way, go beyond your comfort zone in order to nurture and foster the spiritual healing and growth and evolution of yourself and others. That's literally love in action. Okay, I'm not talking about, you know, poems and flowers. I'm talking about love in action. So that's good. It's like it looks here like you're kind of tuning into that vortex and understanding how it works and actually activating that energy where you can see it and feel it around you in like your events, your circumstances, relationships, maybe career, job, home environment, health, resources, communications, whatever it might be in your life, you're actually feeling it. You're feeling that resonance. Wow. As I radiate my passion, my love, my light, I start to feel it coming back to me. So it becomes a self-fulfilling thing, whatever that's called. In other words, the better it gets, the better it gets. That kind of energy. So that's good. It sounds like you're in that vortex. Wah, wah, wah. That kind of stuff, like on a sci-fi movie. All right? So that's good. But what are you bringing in with you? Mastery. Wow. Now, we're not turning this into a love relationship reading, okay? This is a very general, broad energy reading. We're just focusing on the energy, not even the gender of the characters here, not even hardly as people, just energy. So you might be coming in with a certain degree of, let's say, what's the word I'm looking for? Authority, recognition of the self as being able to wear the crown and wear the robes, even though they are very heavy at times, understanding that I feel these are very complementary energies here. It's very, very supportive, very strongly supportive energy where you are acting like almost like a nuclear reactor for yourself. You know, Scorpio, Pluto, nuclear power, all that stuff, it's all connected. Where it just takes one tiny little seed of this amazingly powerful thing called love to generate and pulse and grow and expand and grow uh, like, you know, like a vine. Uh, my friend Abby calls it a banyan tree. So, but this is mastery, coming into mastery. Like the Queen of Wands is such inspirational energy for self and others, where you inspire others, and in being by inspiring others, you become inspired yourself. Again, the better you get, the better you get. So that probably couldn't happen unless you were already doing this to some extent anyway, where you must have been putting in a huge amount of work over a very extended period of time to come to this level of mastery over your heart, over the emotions, the feelings, the raw energy of our souls, heart energy, soul energy, where you're not a victim of everything that's around you in terms of heart soul energy that's happening subconsciously. Instead, you're very deeply aware of that pulsing energy of the universe that you can't necessarily see or touch in tangible 3D ways, but you really feel it in your body and soul. The energy of love that radiates outwards, the energy of love that's received inwards, and having mastery over that so that you can become a beacon. It's like you have figured out and learned how to love yourself first and love others to the point of mastery where it becomes like a mantra. Love yourself first. Take ownership of your heart, your soul, your energy. Know thyself. All of that, okay? And then living it out, doing it for real, not just talking about it, but actually doing it and living it to the point where you get certified. You are certified, Scorpio. So again, that's awesome. But again, with great power goes great responsibility, because now you are charged with having to live that by example. Okay, Scorpio? Just just saying. All right. So given that, where does that leave you in the ever present now, moving through October? Okay. Well, this is the nuclear reactor feeding on itself, where it just breeds more and more. It's like a breeder reactor, and that's what happens with plutonium and uranium in a nuclear bomb. They just use a small nugget, but that small nugget of stuff once that fusion or fission process or whatever it's called is triggered, it just is mind-boggling what happens. So if you, Scorpio, are in a place where you are understanding how this process works, it puts you in a position where you have not only the desire and the ability to like express this and communicate this and share this vibrantly and passionately in a very like big broad way without having to do anything except broadcast this energy. That's very good. But you also are obliged to live it and not get too carried away with it so you don't turn into an egomaniac or an outrageous narcissist loaded up with vanity. It's much more about realizing that it is a big deal to be a beacon of love and inspiration and own that energy and to have to actually live it out, not just talk about it, but actually to live it out and own it and be a spokesman, be certified, be the authority in that regard, so that it is radiated and expressed in very clear, unambiguous terms that anyone and everyone can understand. It doesn't even matter about the language. They just feel it coming off of you, Scorpio, because that's what you're radiating. It's like a very, very, very powerful beacon. So that's good. It's the beacon of passion, inspiration. It's all, you could just say all of this is just loaded up with the healing power of love in expression. Okay? So that's, from the tarot illumination perspective, this looks good. The thing is, like, it's a lot to handle, Scorpio. It's like there's a tremendous amount on your plate here. And this crown and this crown, they are very heavy at times. And there might come periods where you're wishing like, oh my gosh, maybe I shouldn't have set myself up for all of this. Maybe I've been wishing and praying for this for a long time, and now it's here, and I'm realizing the huge responsibilities that come with sovereignty. Like on that series, whatever it is, about the Queen of England, where the young girl Elizabeth is told very early on, dear Elizabeth, please understand that there's you, Elizabeth the woman, but there's also you, Elizabeth the Queen. And guess what counts? You are going to be called upon in very painful ways to understand that it is your sovereignty that takes precedence over your self, okay? Because you are now essentially a beacon. You are a sovereign representative of this amazing power, the healing power of love. And So in some ways, it can make you feel as though you've lost or sacrificed some of your personal life and indulgences. But that kind of sometimes goes with great power. Like great presidents and great leaders are under 24/7, 365 scrutiny. It's like they don't have a life of their own anymore. And that can be very tragic and very frightening and lonely for people who have to carry that heavy crown. Okay, I'm just giving you some perspective so you don't let all this stuff go to your head. Okay, Scorpio? So moving forward with all of this, making the decision to activate this, propagate this, uh, radiate this energy. Wow, more wands. It's an indication that you might be scared of burnout. You might be scared that, do I really want to do this? Can I really, really do this without self-destructing? Because you might have been very comfortable in the past with not being so aware. In other words, life might have been much simpler and easier when you were like a bumpkin, where, no one was expecting anything much out of you and you weren't putting a lot of pressure on yourself and you were just thinking, well, life is life and I'm just going to be my Scorpio self. And all of a sudden, well, not all of a sudden, but things are changing to the point where, oh my gosh, now there's all these massive expectations on myself, from myself, and from others. And now moving forward, I'm going to have to live up to that. And the question is, can I handle it? Am I ready, willing, and able to handle it? And that's a big decision because you might feel that you've been through so much recently to get to this point of status and ownership and, let's say, acknowledgement and appreciation by others, as well as owning it and having it inside yourself, but now continuing to move on. In other words, to live the word, speak the word, and honor the word and live it out by example. That's a whole other thing. To be doing that is that's your day job now. To be that beacon for others. It means like, can I handle this? Have I got the strength, the courage to handle it? It's a big, to me, it feels like a question here, but it's also an underlying knowledge that yes, you can because you've already gone through so much just to get certified, just to be able to have the crown, um, let's say, awarded to you. You didn't steal this. You didn't like cheat or anything to get this. This is deep, deep, hard, long-term soul work to get to this point. And it feels like going ahead and moving on into what we would call the future, you're understanding and realizing, oh my gosh, the whole process is going to start all over again. Oh, whoa, hold on. And because you might have been thinking, oh, well, now that I've reached this status, I can just sit back and chill and somebody will do my nails or, they'll feed me grapes and things like that. And I can just sit here and enjoy being awesome. Well, no. Sorry, Scorpio. It turns into a job of even greater awesomeness and responsibility than you've ever had to carry before. Going back to the same thing, these crowns can be quite heavy at times, even though they're absolutely beautiful. So it's like bracing yourself for the future, Scorpio, understanding that, wow, okay, we just can't sit on our laurels and glory forever. We're going to have to get right back out in it again in the not too distant future, okay? But we're not going to do it in a way that you destroy yourself or burn out or lock yourself or drive yourself into a corner where you don't have any options. You're going to find new ways to move forward, uh, new paths. Let's have a look how to do that because we're always on new paths of evolution, even though you've come so far to be here, Scorpio. And you are being encouraged and applauded to go further because, in other words, it's like being a really good CEO of a company. The better you are, the more and more people are willing to bestow that responsibility on you because they don't want to handle it because they can already tell, like, that's great. Like, you go for it, Scorpio. Yeah, it's great because I don't want to wear that crown. I don't want the responsibility. I can't take it. I don't want it. I would just rather have my desk job over here on the side, just doing this with my laptop or doing this with my shovel or whatever it is I do. So that's kind of what we're feeling here and talking about. So how do you move forward effectively without hurting yourself or allow you do it in a very simple, kind way. You understand that, oh, I get it. We're just I'm going to start the whole journey all over again. I'm going to be very, very kind and generous to myself. I'm going to be very, very kind and generous to others. You know, the Six of Pentacles here. And we're going to keep it in harmony and balance. We're going to take a long-term approach. We're going to allow ourselves to receive whatever we need to receive and understand from the great beyond in order to move forward. And we're going to contribute as we go along. We're going to actually do the both things simultaneously. We're going to conduct ourselves, dear Scorpios, all of you out there, living out your duties as the sovereign representative of this love, of this passion, of this expression. Let's just call it, I like to think of it as the healing power of love. You are the sovereign representative, and now turning it into a regular day job, you don't want to burn out. So the way to move forward is take a very slow, steady approach where you are very, very kind to yourself. You accept the applause and the appreciation of others, and you reward yourself accordingly. And then you switch off at the end of the day, nurture yourself, and then you can get back into the crowd tomorrow and extend your generosity and learning and everything and all of that to everybody else. So there's a constant cycle of giving and receiving, which again is the same thing as planting seeds for the future, because you already understand that as you give, so shall you receive. So it's basically reminding yourself to go back to square one and just do that. Love and be loved. Duh. Be loving, be loved. Duh. But do it in ways that are effective and obvious and that have evidence. These are pentacles here. These are not cup cards. These are pentacles. So it's love in action. It's love in evidence. Love is as love does. Love is measured. Love is appreciated and valued. Let's have a look. So where does that lead us? Well, let's just say it leads you to a point and a realization where it's like you're starting your whole evolutionary journey again, because it feels like you just landed here on October on your feet and going forward, now realizing that, oh my gosh, wearing the crown means I have to start all over again, but at a new higher level. Because most times, like, you know, when somebody becomes the president or something, or the king of something, or the queen of something, or the boss and leader of something, typically they've never been there before. You know, sometimes they can, like if you're like a president of so-and-so company and then you get elected on the board of president of so-and-so, then you kind of know what's supposed to happen. But if this feels like you're very much a first timer here, Scorpio, and now realizing that, oh my gosh, I have so much to learn in my new status here as this beacon, as this representative, as this sovereign representative of the healing power of love. And I'm not going to burn out. But what it means is I have to accept that I'm facing a new like puzzle, like a crossword puzzle about what am I going to endure? What am I going to face? What am I going to have to discover even deeper inside of myself that needs to be cured and healed and revealed? And in order to evolve and grow inside myself on my own personal scorpionic evolutionary journey, Mark II, having already started and fully manifested here. So in other words, it's learning on the job. It's like learning how to be the sovereign representative while you're on the job, on the understanding that there is going to be a lot to learn, and you're going to have to be very conscientious and pay very close attention to your peers, your surroundings, your environment, the feedback from your people, your world, and be very, very conscious of what you're saying, thinking, and believing, and putting out there, on the understanding that it comes back at you. So, in other words, the standards have been raised very high, and you're going to have to learn as you go along. And it might feel as though you're trapped in a maze at times, like, how am I supposed to make this tough decision to do this or to do that? How am I really, truly supposed to express love in its highest form now that I have all eyes on me here and doing what you have to do now, Scorpio, as the sovereign representative? It could make you feel like, oh gosh, you're so exposed. Like, I hope people don't realize that I'm actually just trying to figure it all out as I go along. And so I don't, you like, so that you as the Scorpio don't feel, um, awkward about carrying this responsibility and carrying in that power and having to live that by example. But it's okay because most people will realize that deep down you are a human soul like the rest of us, and you're still going to have your flaws and problems just like the rest of us. So that makes you very human, Scorpio. It makes you just like the rest of us. And that's very assuring and comforting. So because you become a person of the people. You're not all high and mighty and above everybody. You're one of the people. And you have all your own issues too, just like the rest of us. So that's actually very, very reassuring, Scorpio. So I'm glad to see this for you. And so it means you are less likely to get on your high horse here and start to take it as one big, huge, massive ego trip. And instead, it's much more about a reality check that this is your new day job. And you're going to be learning as you go along, just like everyone is learning their evolutionary journey as they go along too. So it's very beautiful. In some ways, it's very humbling, which is very, very good energy to have around you, to have created around you and attracted to you when you hold so much power. Because when you have such absolute power, what's that expression? Absolute power corrupts. Power corrupts absolutely. Well, I don't remember what it is, but it's something like that. You can't let all this good stuff go to your head. It's about being really true and honest with yourself, to yourself, and the people around you, and admitting that you're not going to know all the answers all the time, and you have to make tough choices and decisions just like everyone else, because you've got your own internal battles to deal with, just like everybody else. But you're going to do it on the long term in a very healthy, balanced way. So, how scary is all of that? Whoa! Or how exciting is all that? Well, it's both. It's really scary if you mess up, but it's also very exciting if you figure it out and do it and actually, literally live by example to the point where you really truly can like get out there and express like that. But this is very powerful, strong excitement type of energy with the Knight of Wands here. So again, there's a bit of a caution here. Like if you do mess up, understand it's very easy to trip up here. And it's very, very easy to burn out because there is so much power vested in here. It's like you've been given the keys to a very powerful system, machine, power tool, or let's say, device or something like this healing power of love magic wand thing. And so you have to be extremely careful with that because it's, you don't want to overdo it or burn it out. You don't want to trip yourself up and you don't want to trip other people up and you don't want to overdose on it and you don't want to force that onto people. In other words, let's just say, let me get this crystal. Hold on. Sorry, this is kind of unusual, but let's just say this is your wand here. This is your wand. And you are bestowed with all this power and you understand it and you feel it and now you have an obligation to live by example and by example radiate the energy of love is as love does. In other words, be willing to extend yourself beyond your comfort zone to nurture the spiritual growth and healing of yourself and others. And that's great, but that does not give you permission to go around and just jab everybody and say, excuse me, you need more love, baby. You need more love. Because a lot of times love is very frightening to people if they don't know what it is. You have to be very, very judicious, very gentle, very, very careful with the administration and the use of that very powerful tool. Okay, Scorpio? But power is your middle name. So I think you'll understand what we're talking about here. Just quickly, let's have a look. Where does that take you? Oh, wow. Okay, it takes you to a position where there's no way out of it. You are literally going to walk away, by example, walking away from all the battle and conflict that might have consumed you earlier, and instead deliberately choose to live in the energy field of love, so to speak, as opposed to the battlefields of life. And I like the way that turns out here, because this is like really strong energy, but they work very, very well together here. In other words, it's just like having the most amazing tag team, like being a really good team partner to yourself, just like this energy here is really good tag team partner to yourself, where you really become very much one with yourself, and you can not only passionately express and live by example, but the example very clearly expresses what we were trying to get at here earlier, it's all about removing oneself from the battles and the conflicts and focusing deliberately on the love here, okay? Where you become a beacon, a representative, where you bring that to others, you show that to others very courageously, without having to force feed or anything, and just leave it up to everyone else to accept. You do not force this on people. It's up to them to learn how to allow and receive and accept love and the healing power of love, okay? Thank you, Scorpio. Hope you get something out of it. Watch for your sun, moon, and rising, and all the best in October. Bye-bye.